can start in 3, 2, 1. Come on, like the movies. That's what they do. 3, 2,
1.
But I couldn't point. Yeah,
action,
you're right. You're right. Okay,
camera,
sorry. Action.
Camera. Any event, we are looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday, and we want to make sure that you understand that if you do not feel comfortable coming at this time, we completely understand that. We don't expect you to be here unless you feel completely comfortable health-wise in being around folks. We are going to go through the guidelines real quickly with you. We think this is a good medium in as far as getting it across to you, and so we're going to run through that real quickly. On what we expect this Sunday. First of all, we're only going to be doing worship, and we're going to start at 9:30. No classes, no coffee shop before. We're just not ready to do that at this point in time. No Wednesday classes. Those of you who signed up for house groups, you'll continue to meet. You will continue to meet in those groups, but that's where we are in phase 1.
Yeah, and even though we are just having that 9:30 morning worship, we recognize that there are many people who still do not feel comfortable coming in larger groups. And so we're gonna still be providing our online worship experience. Minor changes, but it's gonna be the same basic concept. You can find it in the same place, and we're gonna continue putting the same quality into that. Just as we work through this transition phase, we want to make sure that's available to you. So verobeach.church/online, and you'll find that worship experience just like you always have every Sunday. But whenever you do come at 9:30, if you do plan to come, what are some of the changes that people can expect, Joe?
Well, the changes, and of course the first 2 Sundays before we actually went into the lockdown and the quarantine, we did some of these practices. We have the all-in-one communion cup that you pick up on the table in the back. There'll be a container there where you can drop your offering in the container, because we just don't want to pass things down the aisles and rows at this time. You'll also receive a paper plate, which sounds kind of weird.
Yep.
Sounds kind of weird.
Not for a potluck.
Because you'll take that plate with you as you go to sit down. You're going to notice that every other row is blocked off, so you find a row where you want to sit. You sit down and you take that plate and you put it a distance from you where you feel comfortable someone sitting at this point. So you want someone sitting 10 feet from you, put that plate 10 feet from you. If you're okay with the 6-foot social distancing that's normal, that's fine. If you have family and friends that you've been hanging around with all through this time, and you want them to sit right next to you, then just keep the plate right next to you.
And we've marked off the every other row, so you don't have to worry about someone sitting right behind you, because that row will be marked off. This is mainly for people sitting next to you, so your family unit can sit together, and then you can use that plate to just indicate, this is the space I'm comfortable sitting at.
Exactly. Probably the most controversial guideline that we've been hearing is that we want you to wear a mask, at least for the first 2 weeks that we're back. And the main reason for this is that based on the things that we've read and the best information we have from our state government and the CDC, is that wearing a mask is good practice when you're in a large group, particularly inside in an air-conditioned area. This is because we are thinking about others. It's not necessarily to protect you, it's to make other folks feel comfortable that if you have the disease, and we know you can have this disease without knowing it, that you're not going to be passing it on through the air with your air droplets and moisture.
Yeah. It's a physical representation of our love for one another.
Right, it's how we show that we are concerned about others and not just concerned about ourselves. And so if you're not comfortable wearing a mask, as Payton said, we have the online experience that you can still watch. We're gonna just monitor this for a couple weeks, and we actually have something happening after 2 weeks that will help us make a further decision. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so June 22nd, we're working with a government-owned organization called Lab 24, and they're gonna be setting up shop here for a day in our church building to give out free testing This is for people with insurance or without insurance. It's free for everybody. And you can come in, you sign up. We'll send a link out so you can sign up for that. And you come in and you can get a free test. And within a week, you know if you have the COVID-19 virus. And then you know what kind of procedures you need to take after that. But it's gonna be a good measurement, both for our church and the community. You know, after having masks and then doing the test and no one has it, then we might feel more comfortable, you know, loosening up some of those precautions. But in the beginning, especially these first 2 weeks of being back together as a church family in a large group, we want to just be precautious.
And we, like I said, we look forward to having you here. It's just very important just to be able to see some of our folks. I know we can't come up and hug. We're not going to be shaking hands. We're going to be keeping our distance, but you can definitely carry on a great conversation from 6 feet away and make some, you know, just make some connection with your church family that we just haven't been able to do for, we're up to 2 months. 3 months.
Yeah, so just besides those things, a few other minor changes. We're gonna pretty much limit the bathroom just for emergencies. We know our bathroom is a tight hallway, so we wanna limit one person at a time and then just try to go if it's an emergency. Otherwise, try to just hold it for the about hour that we're gonna be together. And then for worship, besides sitting apart from each other, our worship will look a little different. For example, we won't have a song leader. We won't necessarily be singing out as we normally do. We're gonna be continuing watching the a cappella music notes that we've had in our online worship experience. Again, these are just precautions, just for the moment, you know, for the moment, for the next few weeks that we're gonna set up just to keep our family safe.
So bear with us. Come and worship with us this Sunday if you feel comfortable. We will use these guidelines to make it as safe as possible, and we really look forward to worshiping together as a family once again.
Yeah, stay safe.